It's now time for the Pony Cake Sports Podcast with your hosts, Josh Stevens, Tim Thompson, and Tom Schultz. Woo!
Hey there, everybody. We are here with our Week 1 recap that we have for you. And what a Week 1 it was, guys. Crazy Week 1. One of the best Week 1s I have seen in a very, very, very long time. Josh Schultz put up 178 points. A lot of other teams, 150 points, 130 points. Crazy games, matchups that were decided in the very last game. Fantasy football is back. I love it.
I'll tell you what, even though I ended up on the wrong side of it this week, I was very, very happy with just how our league had played out. Kind of gave some value to what I said earlier, that it seemed like the league has evened out quite a bit. Even the teams that aren't necessarily that good, with some of the trades that happened this offseason and the way we've gone to three keepers, everything's much more equal than we potentially thought they would be.
Fireworks everywhere. The first slate of games were fantastic. We had people scoring over 100 points at the 12 o'clock games. It's absolutely crazy Week 1. And like you said, Josh, how Monday night ended, there's 2 games on the line.
Yeah.
2 of the 6 games on the line in the final game on Monday night. Great way to end Week 1. Football fans needed this. We needed this. It's good to have the league back.
We're going to start with the high roller of the week, Josh Schultz versus Justin. 2 teams that put up a lot of points. Again, Josh Schultz is the high roller with 178.9. Huge point total. Justin loses this matchup to 132.7. But if you look at this, Drew Brees went off because they were down by a lot. Alex Collins, what do you guys think of Alex Collins from here on out? Looked like they were going with, who was it? Was it Dixon?
And Buck Allen.
But
I think
Dixon ended up getting hurt.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very interesting to see where that goes from there. James Conner went off, 31 points, crazy. OBJ, good game. Tyreek Hill is a monster, it looks like. AJ Green, decent game. Kyle Rudolph, a touchdown. Josh Gordon, a touchdown. Jaguars defense, good. Great scores on each side here. So, pretty interesting.
Yeah, 2 things that I'll take away from this is, number 1, we were all pretty much dead nuts on Josh Schultz, what he has built, the team that he drafted along with his keepers. He's got a solid shot for the Starfish this year as long as Leah doesn't mess it up. To Justin, I feel bad for him. He would have beaten 7 other teams this week. Was fantastic. And honestly, if Leonard Fournette didn't get injured and Trey Burton was used the way he should be, then this game's actually even much closer than it was. Still very close, but props to both of these teams. And I am very optimistic for both of them going forward. Your question with Alex Collins, we see this often early with the Baltimore Ravens. They don't know who the running back is. It's whoever the last one is standing, because they always have a bunch of injuries in that running back committee. Kenneth Dixon will probably get popped for something. And Buck Allen, you never know what the hell Buck Allen is. Buck Allen is just the giant, biggest question mark. 4 weeks from now, he'll go off for 35 points.
I wouldn't be worried too much with Alex Collins. Look, that game was out of hand in the second quarter. Game flow, they really just didn't need him to be pounding the rock. A lot of people thought with them being up so much they would just be force-feeding the football, but they were kind of letting their lesser running backs carry the load. I think Alex Collins will be the number 1 guy there. But Josh Schultz, pretty much what saved his draft was that James Conner pick. He reached on him a little bit, but he knew that other people were looking at him, other people were targeting him, and it kind of saved his season right now. He still would have won even without James Conner, but this matchup could have been a lot closer, like Tim brought up with Fournette. Chris Hogan, I thought he was going to have a much bigger week, only scored 1.6 points. Trey Burton kind of got shut down in the second half of that football game. Both these teams very good. Both of them are good on paper. We'll see, though, what goes on with Fournette. Justin does have T.J. Yeldon, which is huge, and we'll see if Adrian Peterson can keep it up.
Still, those team names are great. Team throat pounders, I still like that. And Leah is my puppet master, so 2 great team names. Let's move on to...
Created by me. Just want to go out there and say that.
Moving on, we have Jerry McInerney, which is May Watson be with you. I don't get it. versus Greg Wagner, Saquon, my name, bitch. Greg wins 100 points even. Jerry puts up a solid 76.8. Starting running back LeGarrette Blount, negative 0.3 points. Mike Wallace, 0 points. He started Rashad Penny. He started a rookie wide receiver who's 4th on the depth chart. And then he had the gall to say, "Oh, I should have started Austin Eckler." No! Austin Eckler should not be started in any format right now. He just got really lucky on with the Chargers needing to throw the ball a lot. I digress. Greg put up some decent numbers, but honestly, I was expecting more.
Yep.
So little disappointing here by Greg.
Yeah, Jerry's team is who we thought they were. I'm not even gonna address that. Jerry's picking up Lindsey, the rookie for the Broncos. I was trying to get him to not take him today earlier because I'm the second waiver wire claim. Strictly because I wanted to sell Lindsey to Brett Muhammad and move that along there. That's not going to happen. So Jerry's definitely taking him with the first waiver wire claim. That's all that really matters. Jerry told me today, though, that he is not tanking any longer. Just so you know, he said that we ended that. And I said, well, I didn't end that. The commissioner did. So just so you know, everyone, Jerry's not tanking. He's trying to be competitive. Moving on to Wags' team. Wags is one of the 2 teams that I'm putting on high alert. Teams that I had high hopes for, teams that I thought drafted extremely well, but teams that are making me pretty nervous. They're better than this. They're definitely better than this. The fact that you go and you win, that's great, but you would have lost to every single other team in this league besides 2. So, or besides 1. You lost to Jerry's team, and then you would have only beat me. That's it. So that's not comforting. I get it's a week by week, same thing that I said to Kanos. Because, hey, a win's a win. That's all that matters with the way that we have it set up. But you better laundry's done, Josh.
Thank you.
You better figure some shit out.
I'd feel okay if I was Greg. Look, his quarterback completely shit the bed. It wasn't a great matchup. He should have listened to our show, picked someone else up, and not have started Big Ben. But he was facing Jerry. He wasn't too worried, which I don't blame him. This game could have been a lot closer. But if he started a Randall Cobb and a Tyler Lockett and bench Woods and Watkins, we'd be singing a different tune right now. Tyler Lockett's usage is going to go up. He's going to be fantasy viable. With Doug Baldwin being out, I think Randall Cobb's going to be a viable starter as well at the wide receiver position. The only thing that's going to suck for him is he's got 5 or 6 guys kind of all clumped in the same region where it's going to be tough picking who to start on a weekly basis. This week he picked wrong. Hopefully next week he can make a better decision. But it's week 1 for him, and he got to win. That's huge.
That's all that matters.
Moving on to Tim and Boo Boo Titty Fuck.
I got one more thing.
Yes.
Josh Schultz would have beat both of them if their scores were combined.
That is true. That is true.
Insane.
Boo Boo Titty Fuck Tim versus Mad Mexi Thanos, Alejandro Cedillo. Thanos wins this matchup, 118.3 to 94.1. And Tim, you just had bad luck. Travis Kelce, 1.1 points. Marquise Goodwin got hurt real early in that game. Devonta Freeman got hurt. Amari Cooper, apparently Gruden hates him. Just bad luck in general. But on the other side, Thanos, he got an injury with Doug Baldwin as well. His team is not going to be looking so hot from here on out, in my opinion. You look at that bench, not the greatest bench in the world. Who is he going to put there? I don't know.
Yeah, when I did my original power rankings for the league, I said if he has any big-time injuries, his team's going to be in trouble. And it happened week 1. That is not good for him. What also isn't good is the usage of Kareem Hunt. That offense right now is built around Patrick Mahomes and an air raid style. Kareem Hunt has not been a receiving back the last few games. Andy Reid has not been a believer in his receiving ability. So you have to be worried about him. He is right now a top-end running back 2 in my eyes. He's not a mid-tier RB1. I think his usage is going to continue to struggle. He's lucky he got Melvin Gordon, great pick. But he kind of got lucky as well that he was facing Tim this week. He was a bottom 6 team in the league, and when you score in the bottom 6 and you still get a W, you're pretty lucky.
Yeah, there's I'm not going to call him, and I know I did in our group chat, but I'm not saying he's lucky in a sense that I think he's actually lucky. He's just lucky the way that it all played out. Like, it is what it is. He beat me fair and square. A win's a win, so it doesn't really matter. I still maintain that we have the most competitive division. I maintain that my biggest thing is to look for a split. So I look to beat Josh this week and get to that 1-1 split. I will be picking up a wide receiver at that number 2 waiver wire spot.
Quincy Enunwa.
And I fully encourage everyone else to pick up a wide receiver in front of Juan Canos, because that's what should be done. Because if not, he's going to be starting Jordy. Jordy's going to be his starting 3 wide receiver, and I don't think he'd be happy with that.
I was going to go with my team next, but because mine and Tommy's score was so close, we're going to go with yours, Tom.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it hurts my say it for me.
Oh my God, it hurts my mix on fire.
It's like my dick's on fire.
I love
Jerry fucking stole my team name. He's like, oh, I didn't know that was your team name. I'm like, yeah, you did. You told me about it a week before and told me to change my name. Dickhead.
Tom puts up 135.4. He was playing none other than Brett Muhammad. Put up 108.7, respectable score. But when you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys put up under 10 points, you're not going to win. Derrick Henry, we said this. Some of us have said this, that Dion Lewis is probably going to get more of that timeshare. Biggest shocker, in my opinion, Royce Freeman splitting pretty much even time with Phillip Lindsay. Corey Davis looked pretty good. Marvin Jones had only 7.4 points, which I still think is going to hold true for the rest of the year. I don't think he's going to be a top guy. And Rex Burke had 7.4. Tom, you had a good week, man. Demaryius Thomas, good game. I was shocked by that. I was completely wrong. Golden Tate, good game. T.Y. Hilton, decent. Joe Mixon put up some numbers. Dalvin, still getting worked into that offense again, so you're going to have a little bit of downtime there for probably the next 2 weeks, but I think you'll be all right.
So I will say for Brett Muhammad's team, I thought he brought a formidable lineup. I was shocked. I was completely wrong on the Dion Lewis. Watching some of that game, extremely hard running out of Dion Lewis. Looked revitalized almost, and Derrick Henry, vice versa. I mean, just looked slow, like he was stuck in the mud the entire game. In terms of Royce Freeman, it seems like the Seahawks' defensive game plan was strictly built around stopping Royce Freeman. Like, it just seemed like that was, at any time they knew that the Broncos were going to try to get that going, and it seemed like anytime they had him in the backfield, they had 7, 8 in the box ready to go. But outside of that, you go to Tom's team. Tom, I think the difference between your team being an elite team and a below average team is what happens with Jamal Williams. How do the Packers include him? And obviously Zach Ertz was a little bit low, but Delvin Cook and Jamal Adams are the 2 X factors, I believe, for your team being elite or just a one and done in the playoffs type of team.
Yeah, your statement with Royce Freeman, I think it was like 79% of his snaps, Seahawks had 8 guys in the box. So it was kind of smart. At the end of the game, he kind of got rolling a little bit more, and he kind of dominated the red zone touches. So it might have just been kind of a freak week 1. I think Freeman will be the go-to guy. I don't think Brett Muhammad has an RB1 on his team right now, though, especially with Henry. He might have 2 or 3 big games, but as long as Dion Lewis is healthy, it's gonna be rough going for this football team. He's gonna have to make a trade. That has not been Brett's MO right now. My team, I'm like happy with how it went. I don't think I had anyone really blow up, and I still put up 135, which was 4th overall. Like, Ertz had his second worst week last year. He's going to be putting over 10 points a game consistently. With Tate and Thomas, I think they're both going to be averaging over 10 a week. Hilton's more of that boomer bust, and if Cook can come to life, his usage was a little low this week. If Mixon keeps playing like this, I'm confident with my team.
Moving on to the second to last matchup, myself, Keekly, Do You Love Me, versus Tommy Rafferty, King Starfish. So I'll let you guys decide.
I like the team name change.
Thank you.
Very hipster Josh-ish. Instantly when I saw that, I laughed. I love the fact that you didn't just have the statement, but you put the question mark at the end. So it was a real question. I love that. I told you before, I hate you, pretty much everything you stand for and everything that you say. With that said, I hate Tommy and enjoy this comeback and this ass fucking, if you would. So much. I truly do love the Phillip Rivers, as we were talking pre-show here. Phillip Rivers and Keenan Allen this year, that's going to be the 1-2 punch of the year. That's going to be it with the issues the rest of the team are having. Michael Thomas, I think, overachieved a bit. I don't know if you're going to see the Saints down like that.
I doubt he's going to be catching 16 balls every single week.
Wasn't he like 16 of 17?
16 of 17,
yeah. I mean, just absurd. I mean, mostly because I don't think the Saints are going to be down by that much. I don't think I think it's just one of those fluke things where it was, week one, that's why you see so many panic moves and then it doesn't pan out because people don't realize that week one, people have been focusing on that one team and what they do for at least 4 weeks.
Yeah.
That's what every practice, everything has been focused around that one team. Add on to that, that's a division rival. Of course, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get a game like that. Not like any of us predicted it, but
oh yeah, definitely not.
Props to the Buccaneers and props to freaking Michael Thomas. You look at the bottom end of that team though, Joshy boy. Pierre Garcon, 3.1. Mike Gesicki, 1.6. Chargers D, -1. You got some. You got a couple of. It's like when you watch a UFC fight. You see someone get a knockout. That's great, but. I see a couple holes in your game, son. I'll be coming for them this week.
There's some holes. Yeah, you gotta believe that.
I'll be looking to fuck them this week.
Both of these teams, this is a good matchup. This was probably, this is probably the second best matchup of the week. Kevin and Mike, who we'll talk about in a second. But, Josh, your receivers, Keenan Allen and Michael Thomas, I really thought both these guys, your team would go as these two guys went. Yeah. When they score 50-plus points in a week, you're probably going to win. And Chris McCaffrey didn't even have that good of a game. You had Carlos Hyde come out and produce. Mike could have used him this week.
Could have.
That sucks for Mike. That's
Mike,
why you don't
on the
panic
trade block.
on draft day.
He is on the trade block.
But yeah, you definitely need to upgrade some spots. You did trade Gesicki for O.J. Howard. I still would like to see you improve at that tight end spot to make this team a true
I offered him
contender.
a deal.
You did.
I offered him a deal.
We'll see if that happens.
I offered him Travis Kelce for his best 4th-round draft pick.
Yeah, we'll see how that
And I said that expires in 12 hours. I made that offer at 5:26 p.m., so by 5:26 a.m., that is tomorrow, September 12th. That's a Wednesday. Josh has to decide. Last thing I will say is this game was strictly decided on that Tampa Bay-New Orleans game. New Orleans kept giving up points. Tommy had the Saints defense, minus 1.5. You get 30 from Michael Thomas. That's the difference maker right there, boys and girls. Eat a dick, Tommy.
And Stafford. Last year was the second most consistent quarterback in the NFL.
Nobody saw him throwing 4 picks in this game against the lowly Jets.
He shit the bed. I guess he was tipping signals, and Jets knew exactly what he was running. That's just bad luck. But with Gurley and Zeke, he's going to be competitive week in and week out. Neither of these guys really blew up this week, and he was still in it and put up a good amount of points.
If Tommy would have started Alex Smith like I said to do, he would have won.
Yep.
Is what it is. Let's move on to the last matchup.
Game of the week.
Mike Alvin versus one Tater King Kevin Long.
Can I start, please?
Yeah,
please.
Sure.
So, all I will say is, I've told Mike over and over, I handed you your 3rd place last year. I handed it to you. And Mike, Tim giveth and Tim taketh away. I knew that Kevin was playing Mike week 1 this year, and I said, you know what? Mike was not grateful. Mike did not listen. Mike is still keeping Aaron Rodgers. So what I will do is I will give Kevin Antonio Brown and Rob Gronkowski and give him, close to 40 points between those two guys. So Kevin can go out there, shock the world, and upset Michael. I'm no longer going to be in the playoffs agent and win. Love it. Good job, Kevin. I'm so fucking proud of you. Mike, get your stupid fucking cartoon gif off your team, idiot.
And the best part, if Mike didn't make that original trade and got Carlos Hyde, he definitely would have won this matchup. Hyde over Carson. Carson only scored 7.4 points. That's going to continue to be kind of a pain in the ass backfield to own in Seattle, even though they're coming out and saying positive things. I still would not want Carson as my RB2 right now.
Well, he's got Deion Lewis, too.
Yeah, so I guess...
And Ty Montgomery.
I guess he's a flex. Mike's team, though, I do like some of his bench. I think James White for the foreseeable future if Sony Michel remains out is viable. Mike Williams showed that he's going to be viable in the future. Mike's probably going to start Brandon Marshall this week or trade him to Jerry for a sixth.
What do you think about Jimmy Graham? Only 1.8 points.
That's what happens with Packers tight ends. Aaron Rodgers just does not target them all that much. He might be a red zone threat, kind of like he was last year, but if he's under 500 yards this season, I would not be surprised. It's kind of a wasted pick for him.
I want to know. I want to know what you guys thought when this Jets versus Lions game was going on. Mike's watching it and he's like, "Oh, I got it in the bag. My game, blah, blah, blah." Kevin's texting me, and he's down. I think it was like, 30 or whatever. And he's like, "Bro, I think I got a chance." And I'm like, "Kevin, I think you got a chance, bro." And then Crowell puts in his first touchdown. And then Crowell puts in his second touchdown. And then he goes over 100 yards. And then Kenny Galladay gets 7 receptions for 114 yards.
Can I tell you what Mike was
What
like
do you
during
think
that
Mike
game?
was like?
I'll tell you what Mike was like in that game. Mike was fucking Helen Keller. Just like he was for 90% of that Bears-Packers game. He was sitting there with his thumb up his ass, finger in his butthole, just being quiet, mulling over, hoping that it would all... He was praying to God that just like when the Packers pulled out a miracle and beat the Bears, that it was going to be the same thing for him. And he'd pull out a miracle. Unfortunately for Mike, he's not Aaron Rodgers. He's a fucking dork loser. And he did not fucking pull out the miracle.
He's a dork
So,
loser.
fuck you, dork loser. Kevin wins. Big Dick Kevin is how I like to call him. Fucked you in the ass.
Kevin scored 72.6 points on Monday night.
Yeah.
He had
Big Dick Kevin.
81 and a half points going into the Monday night game. Mike had to feel like just fine. Like, perfectly fine. I would have felt fine, like, oh, they don't
Mike
have
was
a
probably
fucking
walking
chance.
around with his dick hanging out after he put the kids to bed, and he's like, "I got this week."
To be fair, I mean, that's karma at its finest. The way that Mike slow played Sunday Night Football, the way he slow played that, hid like a fucking snake in the grass, just freaking cutting the weeds, just hung back and kept it quiet. He knew what it was, and Kevin made him pay this week. Kev, props to you. You're not going to win another game this year, but good job.
Hey, he might. Kevin's team's looking all right, man.
I love it. I hope Kevin goes all the way. Kevin, my new championship pick.
Let's take a look at the standings real quick. Obviously, it's just week 1.
How am I doing?
Not so good.
All
Right now we got Greg beating 1-0 versus Muhammad, no wins. Jerry, no wins. I think we're still in agreement that Greg is going to come out as the winner there.
He should. He's lucky he did not play Brett this week, though. Brett would have beat him if that was the matchup.
Then we got... Oh, you know what? Let's not do this. Let's go to the matchups for next week. I'm sorry. Running low on time, so let's compare this.
I want to say my favorite part. Mike told me about how he's trying to trade for a running back today because he's panicking. No surprise there. Told me that he goes, "Well, I got time to wait. I played Jerry this week, so I got time to make a trade."
That might be karma number 2.
So he said it.
Oh.
I got.
If
text.
he came out and said it,
He
that
did?
might be karma number 2.
I have text proof.
Let's start off with that matchup. Mike versus Jerry. 2 0-1 teams. Not a win. 2 0-1 teams.
You see
They're
the projections.
Jerry's only got 5 guys.
he's only got 5 guys out there. Jerry's probably gonna be dropping a lot of people to pick up some waiver guys. So, I think Mike should win regardless. Right now, Mike's got Danny Amendola out there starting. I think that might be a questionable move, but that's just me. I'd probably put Mike Williams out there.
Give me Jerry. 106 to 105. Bears defense is the difference. To use that karma once again, they're going to have a big game against Seattle on Monday night. Mike again goes into Monday Night Football thinking he's going to win. The Bears put up over 18 fantasy football points to make Jerry McInerney win by 1, and Michael Agent starts 0-2.
You look at Mike's team, he's got studs. He's got Aaron Rodgers. It's a tough matchup against Minnesota. He's got Alvin Kamara, who just had a historic week last week, scoring 38.6 points. Jarvis Landry, another great week. And he's got a juicy matchup against the Saints. But Jerry is going to win. Deshaun Watson only scored 12.8 points last week. He is going to drop 35 points this week, along with 18 from the Bears.
That's right.
Jerry wins by 4, 84-80.
We'll keep that streak of scores going.
I'm going to go with Jerry, just because you guys are going with it. Moving on, we have Greg versus Muhammad. Again, Roethlisberger had an elbow injury. They're playing the Kansas City's defense, Big Ben-wise. I like that. It's a favorable matchup for him. I think I'm going to be leaning towards Greg in this matchup.
Yeah, you look at some of Brett's matchups, Brady against Jacksonville. It's going to be a tough matchup. It's not at Foxborough. Brady has struggled on the road a little bit more than he does when he's at home. Not a big fan of the Derrick Henry matchup. Royce Freeman should eat a little bit. We'll see what's going on with Corey Davis, with Marcus Mariota going out. I have to give the edge to Wagzo with Big Ben at home against a shaky secondary. And Jordan Howard, I love that matchup against Seattle as well on Monday night. A big win for Greg, going 2-0 in his first year in our league.
Wags not only is going to be 2-0, Wags is going to be high points this week. I love all of Wags' matchups, like you said, Big Ben. I like Howard against Seattle. I like Saquon at Dallas. Stephon Diggs against Green Bay secondary. I think they're going to be able to do some things there with in Minnesota, and even Austin Seferian-Jenkins against New England. At home, I like it. I like what Wags team's going to bring. 2-0 for sure.
Another close projection matchup: Thanos versus Justin. Russell Wilson going up against that Bears defense. Kind of we'll see how that goes. Kareem Hunt against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Melvin Gordon against Buffalo. I think that's going to be murder right there. Doug Baldwin's most likely going to be out, so it's going to be interesting to see what wide receiver he puts in that place, either Jordy Nelson or Dante Moncrief, so I don't feel good either way. I'm going to go with Justin in this matchup with old-ass Adrian Peterson looking like he's 22 out there.
I am really, really, really putting some pressure on my boy Justin here. Justin, I've backed you for almost 2 solid straight years now. I need you to beat Canos. Set him straight. Listen, do what I can't do. Like Josh alluded to, if he starts Coleman in the flex against Carolina, has Russell Wilson at Chicago, just a lot of the things they have going on, I do not care for. Baldwin's definitely out, so he's going to have a creative player in his third wide receiver spot. Melvin Gordon's really the only player here who I see having a big week. So I look for Canos to be around that 100-point mark once again, and kind of questioning his own leadership, in all honesty.
I think everyone's expecting fireworks in this matchup. I think it's going to be low scoring. I think both of them will be in the low 100s, high 90s. Not a big fan of a lot of these matchups at all. We'll see what's going on with Leonard Fournette. Adrian Peterson, is he only going to have one good week, kind of like how we did last year, facing my shitty Colts defense? He should be able to get some good work in there. And, yeah, whoever the new number 3 wideout for Thanos will be important. I'm going to go with Justin. I don't see him starting 0-2. That'd be huge. That'd be a big deal for him. Thanos, if you want to win in this league, you got to start making moves, buddy.
Josh Schultz versus Tommy matchup that's got some really high point totals. It's going to be very interesting. Tommy has a higher projection.
Stop it. This isn't interesting.
It is interesting.
This isn't interesting. Josh Schultz is going to roll out there with Leah. She's going to whip her titties out, and she's going to say, hey, I'm the queen of this league. And she's just going to just rub him right in Tommy's face. He might like a little bit. He might not. Tommy's starting 0-2. The king of the starfish is starting 0-2, and the best team in this league is going to be 2-0. End of story. Nothing else to say.
Question is, does Stafford have another game like he had this last week?
I don't think so. I think he has to be better. We'll see if Tommy has the balls to start him, though. Alex Smith has a good matchup against the Colts, but there's possibility that's going to be in the middle of that monsoon, or hurricane that's headed towards the East Coast right now. They're saying that should have some adverse weather effects on that game and a lot of the East Coast games right now. I'm going to go the upset, though. Josh Schultz talking a lot of shit. He's showing me he's bugging up Tommy already, talking all this shit, saying after this game he's going to be Prince Starfish, and that he's gonna have to give up that crown and the king label. So I think Tommy's
fit
gonna
Josh's
win.
Small head. Don't buy a youth crown next time.
I'm gonna go with Tommy as well.
I just think those running backs are gonna do damage this week.
I'm the only one with faith, Josh Schultz.
Last two matchups, Tater King, Kevin versus Tom.
I've never been so nervous facing Kevin.
I know.
I always just lay a fucking egg against Kevin. It sucks. I hope it doesn't happen this week. I might not be starting Andy Luck. I'm gonna go with myself. I'm projected to win. I think we're gonna get more out of Zach Ertz. I think he comes back to life and kind of blows up this week. Close victory over Kevin.
Yeah, I don't really like some of Kevin's matchups there. LaShawn McCoy against the Chargers. Crowell, the Miami's improved defense a little bit there. I know Deion Lewis had some success, but Crowell doesn't seem like that type of running back who would. Antonio Brown should have a big day. Yeah. So Brown and Goff are my kind of two big guys there, but the rest of them I don't know. I just think even with a 2 or 3 guys having a big day, I don't think it's going to be enough for Kevin. It'll be close. Something like a 124-117 type of win for Tom.
Last matchup, I'm going to go with Tom as well, even though I think Kevin will put up a very, very good effort. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if Kevin would win, though, because it might be his year this year. Well, we'll see what happens. Last matchup, myself versus Tim. Close comparison and point projection as well.
Man, according to ESPN, Tim has every advantage besides the top 2 wide receiver spots and the DST. It's looking good for Tim on paper. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of Pip Rivers this week for Josh on the road. He kind of struggles on the road, doesn't really get that moniker, but under 50% of the time he has a startable game, especially when traveling to the East Coast. Josh is 1-0. It'd be huge for him to start 2-0.
I don't know if I've ever started 2-0 before.
And it's gonna happen. Josh is gonna pull the upset. Tim's team's going to shit the bed again. He's going to start Freeman. He'll score under 10 points. Amari Cooper under 5 again. Kelsey is the forgotten man in Kansas City. Tim, trade him now. I'm Mr. Cleo, listen to me. If you don't, it's going to be a rough week for you.
So I'm really hoping, number one, I think it's obnoxious that Josh is that big of an underdog, to be perfectly fair.
6.5.
I know, but I just feel like Kanos and I last week were like 0.8 points away from each other. That's what I think this matchup should be at. I feel like it's pretty dead even at this point. Best thing for me is for Hurricane Florence to go through the Carolinas and, not kill anybody. And just go and don't stop in the middle of the Carolinas. Move on up. Move on up into Buffalo and just fuck with Phillip Rivers and one Keenan Allen. That's what I want. Put some rain on there. Make it tough. Going across country, I'm really hoping that's different. I have tough matchups as well. I got David Johnson against the Rams.
10 seconds.
On the
Let's
road.
Go.
So, I don't know. I'm going to say that I win by 2.
Buffalo gave up 37 points to wide receivers last week. Browns gave up 36 to wide receivers last week. And the Lions gave up 31. So I'm going with myself. All right, that's it. That's all we have for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed.
Peace, faggots.